Hi, good morning. My name is Billy Clayton. I'm the military advocate here, and we're going to do a quick class on scholarship hunting. So, as you start looking, there's a lot of different categories that people fall into. There's the needs-based scholarship, so that's more of the financial needs. Usually, that's confirmed by your FAFSA score. So, if you've not enrolled in FAFSA or you've not actually filed for FAFSA, you're actually hurting yourself in the type of scholarships that you can apply for because a lot of them will need that FAFSA number in order to give you, in order to provide need. So there's need-based scholarships and then there's merit-based scholarships. So merit-based scholarships are because you've done something. Either it's a certain GPA, it's because you're in a certain degree. There's scholarships out there for people that can whistle. There's scholarships out there for people that are over 6'2". So those are all merit-based scholarships. They're designed to award somebody because of something that they've done or some type of attribute that they have. Endowments. Endowments are your perpetual gifts. So these are gifts that are scholarships that have been funded to live in perpetually, which means that every year this fund creates interest, and the scholarship money is awarded off the interest of that account. So this actual endowment, this scholarship, will be there forever. And those are usually seen as scholarships and grants. Um, when paid to the university versus being paid to the student. So if you have the GI Bill, you need to understand that the GI Bill is what's called a last pay benefit. So any grants, scholarships, discounts, or any other loans that are put towards tuition have to be applied first, and then the GI Bill pays the rest. So when you're looking for scholarships, and let's say you have 100% of the post 9/11 GI Bill and all your tuition is being covered, or you have other scholarships that all your tuition is being covered, looking for more scholarships that only pays to the university for tuition does nothing for you. So you actually want to look for scholarships that pay to the student or can be used for things other than tuition. And then grants versus scholarships. Grants is if you meet the criteria, you earn the money. So that's very, very, very simple, almost like your GI Bill benefits. If you meet the criteria of getting this GI Bill benefit, you get it. There's no competition. You don't have to compete with other people for the money. Scholarships, on the other hand, is a competition. So you're actually competing with multiple people for an award. Grants are usually in smaller denominations just because they are kind of awarded to everybody, so they need a much larger pot of money. Scholarships, you can usually find scholarships that can cover anywhere between $500 to your full tuition. So it's just all on how you hunt for those scholarships. When hunting for scholarships, you actually need to kind of throw labels on yourselves. There's millions and millions of dollars worth of scholarships that are out there, but how do you actually find the one that fits you? So in this particular example, I can go in and say, okay, I'm a veteran. All right, that's great. So I type in Google scholarships for veterans. Pages upon pages upon pages of different types of scholarships will pop up. So there's 1,000 scholarships available, which that means 100,000 people are able to apply for those scholarships. Okay, that's great, but my pool of competition is a lot larger. So maybe I'm a disabled veteran. Okay, so I'm a disabled veteran, so now that shortens the pool of scholarships that are available, but that also shortens the pool of the amount of people that are eligible to get those. So as I continue to be more specific with what I am, I can actually reduce the amount of scholarships, but find more scholarships that actually completely fit everything that I am, which gives me a greater chance of winning those scholarships. Because not that many people fall into that category, and not every single person that falls into that category will apply for that scholarship. So try to put as many labels on you as possible. So and labels go all the way down to if you're a military dependent. I'm a military dependent of an Army man. I'm a military dependent of an Army combat veteran. I'm a military dependent of an Army combat veteran who's a female going into engineering. I mean, you can be so specific on trying to find these scholarships, and even if one or two pops up, just think how many other people fit that criteria that even know about this scholarship that's going to apply for. So labels are very important to put on yourself when searching for scholarships. So scholarship eligibility. Before we start talking about eligibility, I want to also mention that as you look through scholarships, they're going to have all these different criteria on what you are eligible for, what you can't. They want you to have a certain GPA. They want you to have a certain major. They want you to have a certain, maybe it's a certain ethnicity, race, or gender. As you go through those are some eligibility requirements that you kind of have to hit. But there's other ones that are more broad that you might not have to hit in order to get that scholarship. What you need to understand that a lot of these scholarships that are out there are coming from nonprofit organizations. And these nonprofits have to give this money away. They can't hold on to it. It's part of their charter. So they'd rather give the money to somebody who fits the criteria than nobody at all. So even if you think you're about 60% eligible for a scholarship, go ahead and apply for it because you never know what can happen from it. So let's take a look at what Western has to offer. So for Western, on their financial aid page, they have scholarships and grants page. So scholarships at Western are pretty standard. There's the typical university ones that you get because you have a certain GPA when you come out of high school, things like that, and you compete for those scholarships. They also have what's called the WMU grant. So if you have a certain GPA while you're at WMU, you'll actually get this funding that goes towards tuition. So it's called the WMU grant. Each department has their own. Well, each department has a chunk of money that they can award to scholarships, as well as the different colleges. So doing well in those departments will actually be able to get you to apply for those scholarships. And this is really prevalent if you're a master's student, because there's not really a lot of scholarships out there for master's students. So those departmental awards really come into play when we're talking about your graduate studies. Endowments. That's what I want to focus on. So WMU has a long list of endowments. Now, what they used to do is they used to have them all listed on this page. So as you go through, we'll take the first one for instance. So this particular scholarship for $1,500 is support students who have faced cancer with priority to those who demonstrated financial need. So if you fit that category, you can apply for this particular endowment, and it goes down for several different scholarships. Each one has its own criteria. Some are as simple as must be a student. It must be an undergrad student at Western. So what you have the ability to do is you can actually apply for every endowment that you're eligible for through one application. So it's just one. You submit your name, you submit your information, and you click on all the endowments that you're eligible for, and you apply for them at that one time. Now with stuff at Western, you really have to be careful about the deadline because deadlines do not get extended when it comes to scholarship money here. And the other thing that you need to have done before you do this is that you need to have your FAFSA done. If your FAFSA is not done before you apply for this, they can't verify financial need and they just automatically kick you out of the system. So make sure you have your FAFSA done and make sure you get your information in before the deadline. And as you can see, the deadline for fall scholarships here at Western is February 15th. So that's not very far away from you. The good thing is that because we're getting in this class now and it's getting close to Christmas break, you pretty much treat Christmas break like a part-time job and just do your scholarship hunting during that time frame. Another resource that's available to you is actually our website. So wmich.edu/military, and if you scroll down to benefits, under benefits you'll see a scholarships tab. Now what we have at Western is we have 3 WMU specific scholarships that are available for anyone who's currently serving, who's previously served, or military dependent here at Western. We have the American Legion one, and one of the big criteria on that one is you have to be American Legion eligible. You don't have to be in the American Legion, but you have to serve within specific time frames that makes you eligible to be a member of the American Legion. And all that information is here on the page. So you have to have served between those times. You have to have proof of service. If you're a dependent, then we just need to have proof of service from the military member, and then the actual birth certificate showing that you're related to that service member. And if you're already here at Western, you probably already have that on file anyway. Every scholarship at Western is a 3.0 or higher GPA, except for ours. We wanted to make sure that anybody who wanted to have a scholarship here could actually compete for a scholarship. So ours is a 2.5 cumulative GPA, either from high school if you're coming here as a freshman, or your college GPA. And then financial need as determined by your FAFSA EFC number. All of our applications are online. So you just click the Apply Now button, and it goes to the scholarship application. Fill it out, hit submit, and you guys are good to go. It's a very simple application process. You need to be a student at Western or have already been admitted to Western, so we need to have that WIN number. And you fill it out and press submit. This one is very easy to do. It's a $500 scholarship. We also have the Veterans and Dependents Scholarship. That's the one that comes from our office. We have a scholarship fund that we put money into year-round, and depending on how much money is in that fund by the end of April, will determine how many $500 scholarships we're able to give out. Last year we were able to give out 10, so this year we'll see what it looks like. And then the Arabelli's military scholarship is sponsored by Arabelli's Pizza here in town, and theirs is a $1,000 scholarship. So, but theirs they have an essay component to theirs. So understand that the more money you try to ask for, the more in-depth the application process can turn out to be. So once you hit those 3 WNU specific ones, as you scroll down the page, there's different categories for active and veteran scholarships, there's branch-specific scholarships, and there's also a big long list of dependent scholarships. Now understand that this is not the end-all. This is just a very, very small chunk of what's out there and what's available. So make sure you take a look at those. Degree-specific, gender-specific, and then what we also have are resources for you at the bottom of the page. So scholarship information websites, different types of search engines. The one I would recommend the most would be the military.com scholarship finder, and then ways and text put into actual online searches so you can get scholarship help off of Google and other search engines like that. So let's talk about the search engines, or talk about doing your searches. Personally, I would set up a dummy email. If you don't already have a dummy email for your scholarship searches, for job searches, for things like that, set up a dummy email. Most engines are free, but they're free because they make you register for their site and then they do stuff with your information. So just make sure that the email that you give them is not something that you want to get pinged all the time with requests for school loans or you want a scholarship or this, that, and the other are usually traps to try to get you into something that you don't want. Google is your friend. Google is very free. You don't have to register to use Google. Use that as a great search engine. You can put in all those things that we saw at the bottom of the page, those little pieces of text that you can throw into the search engine, and they'll help you out with getting you to some good scholarships. All of this information is free. You shouldn't have to pay to get scholarship information. Now, there are businesses out there that will actually apply for scholarships for you, but they'll do it at a cost. They'll guarantee that you'll win something, but usually what you win is their scholarship to show to at least feel that guarantee you'll win something, and it's usually something that they just give you out of their money anyway. Again, military.com is one of the better ones. You'll put your information in there, and they'll have a bunch of different things that you can select, and it'll pop up some specific scholarships just for the labels that you put in there. So that's one that I would recommend that you look at. The essay. Again, as we started talking about, the more money that you look for, the more the harder the scholarship application is. Well, once we get to the parts of where you need an essay, just understand that it's just a way of determining awards winners. So you've got your financial need, you've got your merit base. The essay is just another way to determine whether a person wins or not. You need to treat it like it's a paper that you're going to turn in for a grade, because you actually are turning this in to get something back, which is money. So if you have to take it to the writing center, if you have to take it to have somebody proofread it, if you want to do things like that, do that. If you want to bring it by our office and have our office look at it, we'll be more than happy to look at it for you guys. And then what you really should have is just your basic military scholarship essay. Most military scholarships are going to be something about talk about patriotism, talk about how the military shaped your life, talk about how being a military dependent helped shape you into the person that you are today. If you had this money, what would you do with it to help support you in your career, things like that. So knowing that it's kind of the same message or the same question, you can make a essay format that you just tweak from scholarship to scholarship. Some scholarships actually want references or letters of support. You can get those from just about anybody. A lot of them will have criteria and who you can and can't. Most of them don't want letters of references from your parents. A lot of them would like to see them from your school. If you're a member of a community organization, you can get them from those organizations. You can get them from professors, employers. You can also request them from our office. So if you need a letter of recommendation or support from a community partner, we'll be more than happy to write a letter for you. All I ask is that you just kind of email me with what the link to the scholarship, so I can actually look at the scholarship and see what it is. Because I want to talk about how much you love dogs if it's a scholarship for cats. So just make sure you let us know what it is. We'll be more than happy to pump that out for you. We can usually turn it around in about two days. We'll get you a letter back. All right, so real down, quick and dirty. We do have computers set up for you in the other offices if you actually want to take the time and actually go through some. The Western specific ones are open right now, so you can actually apply for those today if you wanted to. But besides that, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. All right, thank you very much.